Hello, sir, Muruganandam, sir.
Madam?
Sir, screen blank ka irukku sir. Neenga top sharing kuduthittingala sir?
Oh, அந்த திரும்ப கொடுக்கிறேன் மேடம்.
Okay.
I will repeat it.
Yes sir, yes sir, yes sir.
Madam, screen தெரியுதுங்களா?
Yes sir, it is visible sir.
Full screen தெரியுதா இல்ல minimized தெரியுதுங்களா மேடம்?
Minimized sir, not in slide mode sir.
ஓ, இப்ப என்னன்னா நான் அட்மிட் பண்ண வேண்டிய பார்ட்டிசிபென்ட்ஸ், அதனால இந்த மோட்ல வச்சுக்கிறேன் நானு.
Okay.
few minutes later நான் full இதுக்கு வந்துறேன் மேடம்.
Yes sir, sure sir.
எப்ப ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ண? I am ready மேடம். நீங்க எப்பன்னு சொன்னா 2 minutes இருக்கு, நீங்க எப்ப சொன்னீங்கனாலும் பண்ணிக்கலாம்.
Yes sir, we'll wait for 2 minutes sir.
Yes மேடம்.
Yes
மேடம், நான் ஒரு வாட்ஸ்அப்ல ஒரு மொத்த கண்டென்ட் அனுப்பிச்சிருக்கேன்.
Yes sir.
If possible, share so that they will have an idea about the total content madam.
So I can share this to all the participants sir?
மேடம், அந்த வாட்ஸ்அப்ல வந்து கண்டென்ட் அனுப்பிச்சிருக்கேன் மேடம். ஒரு
Okay. Yes sir. பார்த்தேன் sir.
அது எல்லாருக்கும் அனுப்பிச்சிருக்கேன்.
Okay sir.
If they have some doubt, we can discuss about that point also.
Okay sir.
லதா இந்த பாட்டில் வச்சிரு, இத சரி பண்ணிட்டது பேர் என்ன?
Muruganandam sir, shall we start, sir?
Screen தெரியுதுங்களா மேடம்?
Illa sir, not visible, sir. Now it is visible, sir.
Okay.
Shall we start, sir?
Yes, madam.
Yes. So, dear participants, we are in the day 2, session 4. And for the second session of today, we have art of learning. So now today we have with us Dr. Muruganandam sir. So he is professor and head of mechanical engineer, former from Tyagaraja College of Engineering, Madurai. Now I request Durga Kameshwari ma'am for the guest introduction. Durga ma'am. Durga ma'am. Muruganandam sir, am I audible, sir?
Yes, madam.
Yes. Durga Kameshwari ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. Is my voice audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, please go ahead, ma'am. Durga ma'am, you can continue.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Sorry for the inconvenience created. I take this privilege in introducing our today's resource person, Dr. C. Muruganathan sir, former professor and head of Mechanical Engineering Department from Tyagaraja College of Engineering, Madurai, currently acting as educational consultant for Newgen learner. Sir has completed his BE in the year 1984, ME in Industrial Engineering in the year 1989, and PhD in Mechanical Engineering in the year 2010 from Madurai Kamaraj University. He has vast academic experience of around 36 years, where he has served various teaching positions from associate lecturer, assistant professor, associate professor, professor and head of Mechanical Engineering Department in Tyagaraja College of Engineering, Madurai. He has around 8 publications and completed 6 projects. So 3 projects are from funded by Defense Research and Development Labs, Hyderabad, out of which 2 projects are on vision systems development for missile assembly, and 1 project is on production documentation. He also acted as co-coordinator for 2 funded projects by AICTE on Vision Systems Laboratory Development in TCE and Center for Automation in TCE. He has also acted as co-coordinator for research project for Indo-European Union funded virtual lab on mechatronics, which was jointly collaborated with University of Würzburg, Germany, University of Carlos, Spain, and Anna University. He has organized one international conference in the year 2006 on Indian Conference on Computer Vision Graphics and Image Processing, which is jointly organized with IIT Delhi and ISI Kolkata. He has also organized two national conferences in the years 2005 and 2007 respectively at Madhav Rao Institute of Science and Technology, Indore, Madhya Pradesh. He has organized a number of short-term courses, workshops, and he has conducted around 100 workshops on art of learning in various colleges and schools. We are very thankful to you, sir, for accepting our request and sharing your knowledge with our participants. Now the session is over to you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. I consider it a great privilege for the invitation from GMRIT to have an sharing experience with the colleagues of GMRIT. Thank you, ma'am. Now, is the PPT visible, madam? PowerPoint presentation visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This program is entitled The Art of Learning. We will start with a thought on learning by a great living philosopher. Now, capacity to learn is said to be a gift. If something is a gift, it is presented to us by somebody. Is it right? Now, this is a great saying by one Mr. Herbert Brian, a recent American thinker. It is very fitting to have a discussion about this point. Now, capacity to learn is a gift. All of us are gifted with this capacity. Can you guess, please, who has given this gift to us? Can you guess? Dear colleagues, from whom we have received this gift? All of us. Each child that is born in this world is given this gift. Agreeable? Colleagues, please. It is also said that ability to learn is a skill. Ability to learn is a skill. Second point. Third point, willingness to learn is a choice. And this statement has a very powerful meaning to all of us teachers here. Now, do you have any idea about what is the who has given this capacity, who has given this ability, who has given this willingness? Therefore, there are three components. One is capacity, another is ability, and third one is willingness. And there is an interconnectivity between capacity, ability, and willingness. How they are connected. Once we understand each statement, I think we can enable our students to learn well. Please think about this. If you are not able to immediately respond, we can come back to this slide again later. Is it acceptable, dear colleagues? Or can we discuss right now?
Sir, excuse me, sir. Sir,
Yes,
can you please put it in slide mode, sir?
Slide, yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now, capacity to learn is a gift. Ability to learning is a skill. Willingness to learn is a choice. If you can communicate these three aspects to students, there is a possibility of improving the learning process. We may be perfect in our teaching process. Teaching is an input, learning is an output. Unless the output is guaranteed, whatever amount of resources and the effort and the time is invested in teaching, it may not produce the desired results unless learning is assured. Now, as teachers, as educational institutions, unless we develop a learning assurance system, all our efforts may be wasted. What we need is a learning assurance system. With that point in mind, this total content has been designed and presented. Now, any colleagues, do you want to share anything about these three statements or raise your doubts? Somebody is getting admitted. Yeah. Colleagues, are you clear about this statement, these three statements? Are you very clear? Madam, are people there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have 52 participants.
But there is no response, madam. Capacity to learn is a gift. Who has given this gift to us? The answer can be wrong, but we need to respond. It will be right or wrong. That is immaterial. Because even when we give a wrong answer, we are thinking. There is no difference between thinking and learning from a neuroscience aspect point of view. Who has given this capacity to us?
God.
In a way, you are right, Professor. In a way, you're right. But I'm expecting a more accurate answer. In a way, in general, everything is gifted to us by Him, that Almighty, irrespective of religion.
Yes, sir.
You're right. But still, you are millimeters away from the right answer. Please come closer. Louder, please. Then who gives the ability? Who gives the willingness?
Heart. Heart, sir.
God? You mean God?
Yes, sir.
See, capacity, we can tell that the very general answer is everything that we enjoy in our life is given by Him. No doubt about it.
Yes, sir.
But please consider this point. The capacity is given when a child is born in the form of genes. It is received from the parents.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uncle, auntie, teacher, brother, sister. No one can give this capacity. Parents,
Parents.
grandparents, great-grandparents, 7 generations of parent and forefathers can influence this gift. That is how the child is born with the capacity. Now we know there is a 80cc two-wheeler, there is a 100cc two-wheeler, there is a 500cc two-wheeler, there is a 1000cc car. This is capacity. What is the cylinder power to produce the horsepower for the car? That is the capacity.
Yes, sir.
The child is born with this capacity. Each child that is coming to the school or college is gifted with this capacity. No one is deprived. God is so generous. Beyond that, whether the parents are educated or not, whether they have attended colleges, school, or got a degree, graduated or not, the capacity is given. Because in everyone's life, there is an experience in learning that is transferred in the form of genes and is given to the child as a gift at the time of birth. Therefore, the capacity is predetermined for a student that you are meeting in a college. Coming to ability, now see here, capacity cannot be given by teachers. Capacity cannot be given by university and colleges and schools. It comes from family. Coming to ability, can you guess who gives this ability? A child acquires this ability. We continue to acquire this ability all along our life. Can you think who gives this ability?
Teachers.
Beautiful. Possible. Teachers possible. See, capacity can be given only by family, parental family. Ability can be given by anybody in the society. The primary source is teachers,
Yes, sir.
maybe classmates, maybe friends, maybe elder sister, younger sister, auntie, uncle, anybody in the society can give the ability to anybody else in the society. Now, coming to the, are you able to accept this point for
Yes.
capacity and ability?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What about willingness?
By ourselves.
Great answer. Great answer. Nobody else in this world can give this ability, give this willingness. A child is born with the capacity. A child is growing with the ability. It's a lifelong learning. But if the child is living with willingness, if the learner is living with willingness, capacity and ability will get life. Otherwise, whatever amount of capacity and ability the child possesses, the learner possesses, if there is no willingness, there is no use of capacity and ability. Are you able to accept this point?
Yes, sir.
The child has capacity. Let me rephrase. The student, the college student, we are in college now. The college student has capacity. The college student has ability, because all along these years, in schools and families and societies, he has acquired this ability. After coming to college, you have also empowered them a lot. Therefore, they have grown with the ability. If they live with willingness, capacity and ability will get life. Otherwise, both are useless. Now, the most difficult part in developing willingness is a very challenging task for the teacher to bring willingness in the part. If willingness is, we are able to instill willingness, NBA, scoring NBA may become a cakewalk for us, because the teaching learning process mark, we can score full 100% of that. Now, when the teaching learning process is perfect, placement will be perfect. Higher study education abroad will be perfect. Therefore, in our pursuit for getting a greater rank in NIRF or NBA, if you can assure a learning, if you can develop the learning assurance system, if you can instill the perfect willingness to learn in our students, then it becomes much easier. Madam, sorry for the disturbance. Since people are getting continuously admitted, I need to go.
No. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. You can understand, sir.
Yeah. Now, therefore, what we have to communicate to our students is that we have to make them understand is that they have capacity, they have ability. Unless they give willingness, whatever capacity and ability they have will be of no use. Now, recently, this book was published, Taxonomy of Significant Learning. I thought it is worth sharing this the gist of this content with the learned colleagues of GMRIT. It's a beautiful book. We are all aware of Bloom's taxonomy. This is a slightly a different or an improved version of Bloom's taxonomy. That is what I personally think. The title itself is very beautiful, Creating Significant Learning Experiences. Now, there are about 100 more similar excellent titles in developing significant learning experience or improving the learning process. See, even now, this FDP is focusing on faculty development. What we need is a student development. We invested enough time and effort on faculty development. Do you agree? But how much time and effort resources we invested on student development? I think there is a big gap. Unless students are developed, learning output cannot be extracted. We may give any amount of teaching input. Without an output, all the input may become a waste. Now, the gist of this particular book is, he says that for achieving a significant learning experience for a learner, 6 components are needed: the foundation knowledge, the application, the integration, the human dimension, caring, and learning how to learn. If you consider all the 6 components, foundation knowledge, application, integration is already taken care of by Bloom's taxonomy in the cognitive domain. Similarly, we have 2 more domains of the Bloom's taxonomy. which takes care of human dimension and caring. Therefore, as a whole, all the three domains of Bloom's taxonomy takes care of the 5 components. What is missing is learning how to learn. We have been teaching different courses to students. Have you ever taught them how to learn in schools and colleges? This is a global gap. This is a global gap. I teach mathematics. You teach physics. Somebody else teach engineering. Therefore, different type of subjects people are teaching. But students, they do not know how to learn. Because consider in ITIs, 1 year training is given for a plumber. 1 year training is given for an electrician to do his job. A child spends 14 years in school, 4 years in college. 18 years is a too long period for an individual learner to spend 18 years of his life on learning process, minimum for getting a graduation, undergraduate education. But even few hours of learning how to learn has not been given. This I was able to locate in 2010 when I took charge as head of the department in Tyagaraja College of Engineering. Though the brightest student cream of the Tamil Nadu state is joining us, after joining, students were failing. On an average, 10 to 20% students were failing. A student who has got more than 190 out of 200 in cutoff marks, if he fails, something is wrong in the system. Then I could found that in 2010 that we have not empowered them to learn well. They learn on the individual approaches, but there is one unique, excellent approach that we have not taught them. Even few hours of training has not been given to students. But continuously, even the government machinery and educational institutions, we are spending enormous amount of time, effort, money and resources on faculty development. Now we have to get an awareness that student development is an equally important aspect to achieve a significant learning experience for our learners. Are you able to accept this point? Without enabling them how to learn, whatever amount of subject we teach, it may not produce the desired results. Do our students all get centum in our examinations? No. Meaning what? Output has not been produced. We are given 100% teaching input, but 100% learning output has not come. Right. And that is one aspect. Do you want to tell your views there, professors, on the empowering the students to learn well, the 6th component of taxonomy of significant learning?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now coming to this particular, can you identify this person?
Hercules.
Yes.
Hercules, sir.
I appreciate your thinking process. Answer can be wrong in the classroom. Answer should be perfect only in the examination hall.
Yes, sir.
There is no penalty now. That is what you would encourage in our classrooms also. There is no penalty for a wrong answer in the classroom. Now, this is actually Archimedes. He lived about 200 years before Christ, 200 to 300 years before Christ. He developed the principle of lever and pulleys, with which he declared that, give me a place to stand in space, I will move the earth. See, we may not be unable to move a big disk in our laboratory. It may be physically impossible for our muscle power. But he declared, give me a place to stand in space and a long lever. I will be able to move the earth. Now, using this principle of pulleys and levers, see, the same thing he proved to the then king of his country. The first person is lifting a weight. He's training all his nerves, and all his muscle power is exerted to lift the load. Second case, with one single hand, he's lifting the same weight. In third case, with the 2 fingers, he is lifting the same weight. There is a reduction in the muscle load. There is not reduction in the load that is being lifted, but the muscle load that is subjected on the human being can be reduced. This is one of the important findings of Archimedes. about 200 300 years before Christ. When he showed this concept of easily lifting the heavy weights, then the king
Sir.
Syracuse, he said, please develop.
Sir.
Madam?
Sir, where is sir?
No, sir. No, sir. We have some disturbances, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. Google Meet lo pettinda.
May I proceed?
No.
Yes, sir.
Google
Yes,
Meet lo sir ipudu.
When he presented these facts to the then king of this country, Syracuse, it was near Greece.
Link అక్కడ మన టెలిగ్రామ్ గ్రూప్ లో పెట్టినారు సార్.
Hello? The country is called Syracuse. It was near Greece. When he presented these facts of
correct, sir.
lifting the weights easily without much human effort, with little human effort, the king requested him to develop war machines.
నేను మీకు మెయిల్ పెట్టాను చూడండి ఇప్పుడు సేమ్. మీకు డౌన్లోడ్ అయింది అది జనరల్లీ డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి.
సార్ ఆర్కే రావు సార్.
అవునా
సార్ ఆర్కే రావు సార్, యువర్ మైక్ ఈజ్ అన్మ్యూటెడ్ సార్.
మీకు రిజిస్టర్ కదా యావ నంబరు ఏమై
ఆర్కే రావు సార్.
మెయిల్ పెట్టిన లింక్.
Dear participant, please mute yourself.
మీకు మెయిల్ పెట్టాను కదా. ఓకే సార్.
ఆర్కే రావు సార్.
He is not listening.
నేను పెడతాను సార్, సెషన్ పెడతాను.
May I proceed now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When he presented these findings to the then king of Syracuse, King Hiron, the king pleaded him, Archimedes, to develop war machines. So that by the time the Roman Empire was the most powerful empire in the world, anytime, because they were capturing the entire world, anytime they can invade this country, the king wanted to protect his country. As requested by the king, Archimedes developed war machines with the principles of pulleys and levers. As they were afraid of, the Roman soldiers came under the leadership of Captain Marcellus to capture this small country. They came with the 30 ships. But Archimedes, as a single man, with the team of soldiers, he developed war machines and he installed them along the fort walls. Once the warships came near, he was able to lift them out of water, sea water, and then dip them inside water very, very easily, because he knew the way of reducing the muscle load when a heavy weight is lifted. The powerful empire, now the Roman Empire was like the United States now, around 2,200 years ago. It was so powerful. The small country, Syracuse, a small country, was able to withstand the attack by this Roman Empire for 2 years because of the invention of mechanism for reducing the muscle load with the help of pulleys and levers, the war machines. No, this is not a mythology or a story. This is reality which happened in our own world. The ships were lifted. This was made possible, and one of the superpower was prevented from entering this small country for 2 years as long as Archimedes is alive, just because the muscle load was reduced, because the reduction in muscle load. But for the reduction of muscle load, in one day, the Roman Empire would have captured this country. They were able to extend their resistance for 2 years. But therefore, when we lift a load, our muscles are loaded. But when a student is learning, when a student is thinking, our brain is loaded. That load is called cognitive load. What we face here is muscle load. But during learning and thinking process, our brains are loaded. That load is called a cognitive load. If the child is unable, if the learner is unable to bear that load, the child will miserably get a fail mark. If tools are available like pulleys and levers and given to the child, Here, the child may not have the willingness or may not have the ability to lift the load. The child may have willingness, but not equipped with the tools. Like the learner is not given pulleys and levers. Whatever effort the learner may apply, will not produce any results. Sometimes the child may struggle, the learner may struggle and lift the weight with a lot of strain, but with the proper learning tools. If the child is empowered to learn well, if the total art of learning is given to them, like the way Archimedes lifted the ships out of water with a little muscle load, with a little cognitive load, the learner can achieve excellent success. The learner can pass with a huge success in GATE score, may get a number of sentences during college life, can do an excellent project. All depends on how we are going to reduce the cognitive load on the learner, like the way muscle load has been reduced. See, not only that the muscle load was reduced by pulleys and levers 2002 in the Roman War. Even today, in all industries and factories, we are using the principles of pulleys and levers. Now, many computer technology has become obsolete, but whereas this principle of pulleys and levers, which was invented 2,200 years ago, still being used in all factories for loading and unloading of heavy weight in airports, port yards, factories. Many places, such machines are being used. Even when a truck or lorry falls out of the four-way lane, pulleys and levers are used for lifting the buses and the trucks, and they are relayed on the road. Likewise, if we can develop mechanisms for reducing the cognitive load on the learner, their academics can be improved. Do you agree with this statement? Pulleys and lever reduce the muscle load.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If similar techniques are available for reducing the cognitive load on the learner, they too can, in a four-year degree program, they study around 60 subjects. With the proper tools like pulleys and levers, they can study 120 subjects. That is possible. Now, the objective here is to reduce the cognitive load, to provide an enhanced significant learning experience. As of now, the learner may be using good and bad learning approaches. Good approach may require minimum cognitive load. A bad learning approach may involve the unnecessary cognitive load. Now, this we can find out and enable the learners to differentiate between good and bad learning practices with the help of a lot of research work done by cognitive psychologists, neuroscientists, biologists, and teachers across the world. From the life of great people. See, Nobel laureates, they have their own unique way of learning. Even in ancient poems, Indian poems, very effective learning approaches have been given. Basically, we have to enhance the effectiveness and efficiency of the learning process. And we have to make them, our students, we have to empower them with self-learning abilities. It is not a choice of becoming a good learner. Now it is possible to become a rapid learner. One student from Canada has completed a 4-year course in computer science in MIT in 1 year. He is a rapid learner. He can use the remaining 3 years for internships, projects. Is it right? Because the improvement in the effectiveness and efficiency of the learning process, he was able to save 75% of the total study time.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes, madam.
Sir, many participants are requesting to accept the request, sir.
Oh, one.
Permit. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All of them are accepted, madam. I somehow that I didn't get the intimation.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
One more number is getting admitted. Now we have to make our students rapid learners. Now it's a very competitive world. It is not enabling them to become a good learner. We can make them a rapid learner. Now let us try to understand what is learning. Madam, now
Yes,
it is 3:40. It is 3:40 now.
Yes, sir.
I will in the next 40 minutes. I will try to give a definition of learning.
Okay, sir.
I think if you're able to achieve that within the allotted time today, it will be a success. Now, yes. Now, thank you, madam. Now we are trying to, in the next few slides, we're trying to understand what is learning. Now, the learning is influenced both by the brain and the mind of the human beings. Now, considering the brain part, now brain contains about 100 billion neurons, and the neurons are connected to other neurons. For a population of around 100 billion neurons, there can be about 1,000 trillion connections between neurons. Such connections are called synaptic connections. Somebody is getting admitted. 1 minute. Now, this is a neuron, the specialized cell of the human nervous system that transmits signals throughout the body. I think we have studied about neurons in our school life. Some of us even may be doing work on artificial neural network. This is a natural neural network in the human brain. We may be familiar with these neurons. But whenever new input is coming to the brain, see, we have got around 100 billion neurons in the brain. 1 minute. Now, when new input is received by the brain, see, I'm not talking. I'm presenting certain pictures. I'm also speaking. Therefore, through your eyes and ears, the message is reaching your brain. Now, some of the aspect of what I'm communicating may be the new information to few of you. When such new information is received, then around 20 such neurons will get connected and form a circuit like this. See, each one is a neuron. Around approximately 20 such neurons will get connected whenever we receive new input for the brain. Now, the new input can be received by the brain through 5 of our senses. We all, as human beings, we have 5 senses. All the 5 senses can will enable the forming of a natural neural network. Now, we may be familiar with the artificial neural network. Now, this natural neural network is formed when new input is received. And in the process, if you see the still microscope, this is one neuron, this is another neuron. Now, see here, this is an electrical impulse is passing from one neuron to the another neuron. See, the neurons are getting connected to each other at multiple number of points. Now, 3 such points are shown here. Can you see here at the lower end?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Another 2 points are there.
Yeah. Please hold on. Somebody is getting admitted. And you can see that there is a small rectangle here at the left bottom. On the right side, there is an enlarged view is given. One neuron is getting, there's an exploded view. Neurotransmitter molecules are jumping from one neuron to the other neuron. And there are receptors, and the receptors are receiving the neurotransmitter molecules.
Yes, sir.
There is a small gap between the 2 neurons. That is called a synaptic gap. That gap is not visible here. We see they are continuously connected like that. There is a microscopic gap. Therefore, whenever we get a new input to the brain, 20 such individual neurons will get connected. At the junction, neurochemicals will be jumping. Not only that, current will be passing from one neuron to the other neuron. That is why this is an electrochemical process happening in the human brain when new learning happens. Therefore, current will flow along the neuron body, and at the junction, chemicals will jump. Then, likewise, the entire circuit, current will be flowing, and at each junction, chemicals will be jumping. This is a very important aspect. Now, when the dosage of the current...
Sir, PPT is not visible, sir.
PPT not visible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Is it visible now?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Please hold on. Please hold on.
Okay, sir.
Is it all right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Now
okay,
it is
sir.
okay,
This is
sir.
visible.
Okay. Now, the important process for the learning is that these connections, these neurons, before the receipt of the input, they were individual neurons. Now, new learning has happened, because of which 20 neurons are getting connected. That process is called encoding. Now, if by chance, if the neurons get disconnected, the learner will forget the learned material. If by a proper design of learning mechanism, if the learner can ensure that these neurons do not get disconnected, they will retain the learned material for their lifetime. The students can retain the learned material for their lifetime if they see that, if they could manage that these neurons do not get disconnected. How can we do that? It depends on the strength of encoding. Now, strength of encoding can be of three forms. It can be very strong, it can be medium, it can be weak. How do we measure the strength of encoding? It depends on the intensity of current flow through the neural body and dosage of chemical jumping at the junction, at the synaptic junction. This strength, when it is very high, the student will retain the learned material for a lifetime. They will not forget. When it is medium, they may retain the learned material for a week's time. Then they will forget. If it is very weak, they will retain it for a few hours, then they will forget. Now, what is happening now with our students is that, a minute, somebody is getting admitted. Now, our students, they either use medium encoding or weak encoding, and they lose the learned material within a month's time. Therefore, for the next monthly test, they will reread. Every month, they will slog, and they will not retain the material. But engineering is a professional course. They have to learn around 50 to 60 subjects, different subjects, in a span of 4 years, and retain as much knowledge as possible for another 40 years of their professional life. They have to retain the learned material in colleges for lifetime. That is possible only by strong encoding. How do we achieve that strong encoding? See here. Now, on the right bottom corner, there is a strongly encoded information stored in the human brain. Can you see here? Dark blue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, here on the left middle, there is a pale blue. This is a medium encoding. There is a medium encoding. On the right top, there is a very weak, very pale blue. Very pale blue.
Yes, sir.
That is weakly encoded. Now, weakly encoded will last a few hours. Medium encoding will last for a few days. But strong encoding will last for a lifetime. If in an engineering college or a professional course like ours, if we can enable our students to strongly encode, they will be excellent engineers. They will do well in GATE exam. They will do well in all professional exams. They will do well in their project work. This one component, the first step is we have to make them to form strong encoding of the learned material in the human brain. 1 minute, somebody is getting admitted. Now, this encoding is influenced by emotion. Now, this is one important aspect for teachers. Now, we know that we need a strong encoding. We need to enable students to encode, not only students, we as learners, we will also be lifelong learners. AICT wants students to be lifelong learners. They have mechanism of checking that during their NBA visits. Somebody is getting admitted, please. Now, if we like the topic, if the students love the subject, that will lead to strong encoding. We have to understand one more psychological factor. If as teachers, we have a spoiled relation with 1 or 2 students in the class, that will be contagious. Many students may dislike us. When even 1 or many students dislike us, in their brain, the encoding process will be weaker. This will be, they will not be aware of that. This is something, a subconscious process. The emotion and negative emotions will not allow the students to form strong encoding of whatever material we teach in the classroom. Instead, if we have a very friendly, affectionate relation with each and every student in the classroom, whatever we teach will get settled in long-term memory in their brains, because the encoding becomes much, much stronger. This is one aspect where we may spoil or we may enable them to learn well. This is because emotion is one powerful constituent for developing a strong encoding in human brain. Now, even let us consider in our own student life in school and colleges. If you're not like a teacher, you would have scored less mark in the particular subject. It is the influence of emotion. And I want you to reflect your feeling on this aspect. How well do you agree with these statements?
Yes, sir.
Therefore, we need to have a very kind, friendly, only then whatever we teach will produce output. Otherwise, we may teach. We will give all inputs. No output will be produced. If you have seen this Tamil cinema, can you identify the name of the Tamil cinema? Because many Tamil names are there. I'm using this. என்ன படம்னு சொல்ல முடியுங்களா? என்ன சினிமா படம்னு?
திருவிளையாடல் புராணம்.
பியூட்டிஃபுல். இந்த படம் பார்த்து எத்தனை வருஷம் இருக்கு மேடம்?
Yes, to back or maybe 20 years back if I
Madam?
20 years back, definitely 20 years back, yeah.
மேடம், போன வாரம் இதே புதன்கிழமை என்ன கலர்ல நீங்க Dress போட்டீங்கன்னு சொல்ல முடியுமா?
Definitely not, sir.
But 20 yearsக்கு முன்னால எப்படி மேடம் கரெக்ட்டா சொன்னீங்க?
It's very popular movie, as you said, like so many people are having the passion towards this, sir.
Madam, your emotion.
Yeah, that's what.
Your emotion, which was kindled 20 years back, has resulted in a very strong encoding in your brain. You are able to tell without any prior notice. You are able to give an answer instantaneously.
Yes, sir.
It is அந்த இடத்துல ஒரு போயம் ஒன்னு எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச் ஆகும் மேடம். அந்த போயம் நாம இருக்கா உங்களுக்கு?
Poem, not that, sir, not that much.
ஒரு வார்த்தை ஏதாவது தமிழ், அதாவது நீங்க வந்து போயத்துல வேண்டாம், எனி
தப்பு, நீ கொடுத்ததே தப்பு. I mean, he will be telling like that. நம்பி எடுத்து போய் கொடுத்த, நான் செஞ்சது தப்பு, நான் ஆசைப்பட்டிருக்க கூடாது, என் தப்பு like that he will be telling.
அந்த இடத்துல மேடம் ஒரு போயம் எழுதி கொடுப்பாரு, அது கொண்டு ராஜாட்ட பரிசு வாங்குவாரு.
The story I knew that, but yes. Not that phrase that like what is it that poem tries to tell?
கொங்குதேர் வாழ்க்கை.
Konguter, like hair of the ladies is having the natural smell like that. Yes. The poem was written. But those those people in that particular king said that no, it's not so. That was the conversation behind that Nakiran and this. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. In many training programs, I invite parents too. Parents, they would have seen this particular movie. they would have seen this movie 20 years, 30 years back.
Yeah,
but they will tell the poem fully well.
Okay.
It is because of the emotion.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Therefore, emotion is an important component of the learning process that we have to fully make use of in our classrooms. We have to be very affectionate with our boy, unconditional love for our students. And our interest and natural love for the subject is contagious. If you love the subject, students will also love the subject. We can easily manage this emotion and produce better academic results in our classrooms. Even in the 1960s, about 60 years back, educational psychologists have told that the class average mark can be made 100 and the standard deviation can be made 0. They declared a possibility, but we need to handle it through the emotion, positive emotions. There may be some difference in the prerequisites. There can be some gaps. If you can fill the gap in the prerequisites, I think scoring average of 100 marks in the classroom and the standard deviation of 0 is even now possible in our educational institutions. And coming to the second component, another is environment. Now, environment also plays a role in the strong encoding. If the examinations are conducted in silence, only we may be able to feel the sound of the fan, nothing else, in an examination hall. Whereas when a student learns, the TV may be on, the laptop may be on, email, Gmail, Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, everything, YouTube, cinema, everything may be on. Therefore, in a learning environment, so much amount of factors are creating noise. Whereas in an examination hall, only there is a fan noise, nothing else. There is a huge difference in the storing mechanism, storing environment and the retrieval environment, which will disturb the information retrieval mechanism in the human brain. Not only that, initial stage encoding itself is affected. Second part, the retrieval mechanism becomes useless, ineffective. Therefore, encoding has become weaker, retrieval has become much weaker. The student is bound to fail in the examination hall. Therefore, if the environment is matched, the student studies in a calm environment and retrieves in a calm environment, he is bound to score something near the centum. I think this point is acceptable. This has been a neuroscience finding.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Somebody is getting admitted. 1 minute. Now, therefore, we understood what encoding is. Now, coming to human memory, we have got 3 types of memory. One is called sensory memory, second is called short-term memory, and third is called long-term memory. Now, the life of sensory memory is less than 1 second, maximum 1000 milliseconds. Now, sensory memory deals with the time taken by our sensory organs, maybe our eyes or ears or nose, for transmitting the information from the environment to the human brain. 1 minute, somebody is getting admitted. Now, it may be 200 milliseconds for my eye to send this message to the brain. It may be 300, 400 milliseconds for my ear to send the same message to the brain. It may be 700 milliseconds for my skin to communicate the message to the brain. Therefore, maximum for the 5 senses we have, it may be 1000 milliseconds. That is why it is the life of sensory memory has been given as less than 1 second, which is less than 1000 milliseconds. Now, coming to short-term memory, which is called working memory. Now, here it is less than 1 minute. Now, if you are able to retain an information for more than 1 minute, it can even be called a long-term memory. If it crosses even 30 seconds, certain people, they declare it as long-term memory. If you are able to store the information learned or received by the brain in long-term memory, the life is lifetime. The lives of such memory is lifetime. In a professional course like ours, we have to enable our students to store whatever we teach in their long-term memory. How to do that? Now, when we have three different types of memory, there is no bypass route to directly transmit the information we have with us directly to get landed on the long-term memory. It has to pass through sensory memory. From sensory memory, it has to go to short-term memory. From short-term memory, it has to go to long-term memory. In between, there are two filters. See, first it reaches the sensory memory. Then to convert this into short-term memory, the information has to jump a filter in between. Imagine that we have made that. Then there is a filter between short-term memory and long-term memory, which again prevents the flow of information to long-term memory. If you manage, if the information is large here, then the student will be a great academic achiever. He will do well in monthly test exams, semester exams, project works, mini project works, GATE exam, degree exam, any competitive exam, any job exam. In all, he will be, and in his profession, he will be successful because he has stored all the engineering principle in his long-term memory. Now, further division, let us not worry about the further classification of long-term memory. Further subdivision is possible, but let us worry about converting sensory to short-term, short-term to long-term. We have to overcome the two filters. Now, overcoming the two filters is possible with the help of emotion and the repeated action. The emotion is also influenced by the willingness. Now, we were talking about capacity, ability, and willingness. If the learner is fully emotional, it gives 100% willingness, quickly sensory will get converted into short-term. And by a retrieval practice, short-term will get converted into a long-term memory. Therefore, two important aspects are here. One is the willingness or the emotion, positive emotion. Second is the retrieval practice. Therefore, when we have third aspect is concentration of mind. When these three factors fully play their role with the minimum effort, whatever you teach in the classroom can get lodged in the long-term memory. Now, do you understand the difference between these three memories, sensory, short-term, and long-term? Any doubt, any clarification needed? May I go to the next slide? Because to understand the learning, now one aspect is we understood what encoding is. Now we understood what is long-term memory and how to achieve long-term memory. Then we can now in another research it was found that 4 factors are influencing in the formation of long-term memory. For the 4 factors, threat to the learner's survival or well-being, and 2, 3, 4 are a strong emotional association, relationship with the learner's interest, goal, and prior knowledge, sense. See, I'm talking about certain neuroscience aspects, certain cognitive psychology aspects. We all come from an engineering background. If the 4th point is missing, the sense, if few of us are not able to understand what I'm telling, then what I'm trying to convey now will not reach your long-term memory. Therefore, in a classroom, unless students understand what as teachers we teach, the material will not get stored in long-term memory. There is no possibility at all. And the learner's emotion, they are fully taken care of by 2, 3, and 4. He already has some knowledge, already has some experience, and there is a goal. If he wants to pass GATE examination and go to IIT Madras or to IIT Delhi, then there is a goal connected to the subject. Then it gets stored in the long-term memory. Threat is a different environment. Is it right? Now, that is not possible in a classroom. We cannot go to, for 1 hour of lecture, each one of us in a revolver in our back and threaten our students to learn well. So that the psychology says that with the threat, the learning material goes to life. It's not possible. It may be possible in a police inquiry, not in a classroom like ours. We have to make use of these 3 aspects, 2, 3, and 4. Now, this is one of the 7 sages of grace who told, know thyself. It's a great communication. His tales of Miletus. So somebody is getting admitted. He was the teacher of Pythagoras. He told Pythagoras that you studied enough in Greece. You go to Egypt, they will teach you all the secrets of the universe. They know about the movement of the planets. Likewise, he encouraged, Thales of Miletus encouraged Pythagoras to go to Egypt around 600 years before Christ. Then when Pythagoras came to Egypt, the education institutions were managed by religious leaders. They didn't give him a smart admission. They said, how do we know that you are very serious about the learning process? You fast for 48 days. If you are able to fast for 48 days, we'll give you admission. Pythagoras performed fasting for 48 days. He proved his interest, goal, his emotional association with the learning process to the religious leaders. He was given admission. Even now he lives with us. That is the interest, goal, emotional association as a learner, what Pythagoras exhibited has enabled him to live even now along with us. Now, therefore, now we understood how the emotion, the environment aspects are helping in a very strong encoding. Now here comes the Benjamin Bloom. Many of us are familiar with this term Bloom's taxonomy. Am I right? Many of us are familiar. Benjamin Bloom was the controller of examinations when the Second World was over in Chicago University. Now, he found there is a lot of gap in the valuation system. He was working as a controller of examinations, and his individual single student paper, when was given for correction to multiple different teachers, they give different marks. One is giving 10 marks out of 100, another is giving 50 marks out of 100, another teacher is giving 80 marks out of 100. No, he could not accept it. Answer sheet given for the same question paper, answer sheet given by a single student is given 3 different or multiple different marks. He could not, he found a flaw in the valuation system. Then he worked on this particular, to solve the problem. He worked along with the team of around 30 psychologists without any funding from the American government, with the individual funding. Maybe about 8 years of research work. About 8 years of research work, he developed what is known as the Bloom's taxonomy. I think many of you will be aware of this particular term and the Bloom's taxonomy, which is implemented throughout the world in schools, colleges, and universities. Somebody is getting admitted. 1 minute. One minute. Do you need any input on Bloom's taxonomy? I think most of you will be aware of this. I just touched upon the history of Bloom's taxonomy.
Yes, sir.
You have received input on Bloom's taxonomy already?
Yes, sir. Yesterday we have a session in effective teaching, sir.
Very good, very good, very good.
Yes, sir. Which was given by Dr. Edamana Prasad, sir, IIT Madras.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Sir has covered the cognitive level and orbitis.
Beautiful. Now, it happened. He started developing this taxonomy. He started work in 1948, and he completed the research work in 1956. In the past, say in the 70 years, but for the taxonomy of significant learning, which we discussed at the beginning of this particular session today, no other taxonomy was able to replace Bloom's taxonomy. Throughout the world, we are using now. 8 years of hard work by Bloom's taxonomy. Now, if you consider GATE examination or IIT JEE examination or NEET exam, let us compare such a competitive examinations with the school and the board examinations and university examinations. In school, college, and board examinations, we have a mix of questions from remember, understand, apply levels. Level 1, level 2, and level 3. Whereas in the competitive examinations like GATE, or in NEET, or in IIT JEE, or in admissions for IIMs, now questions are above apply, analyze, evaluate level. They may not ask questions at create level. Create level questions can be there in project work or mini project work. Therefore, if you consider L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, L6, each level, L1, L2, L3, or there is a mix of L1, L2, L3 in school exam, college exam, university exams. All competitive examinations, they demand L3, L4, L5. This mismatch. That is why students are not performing well in NEET examinations, IIT examinations, and GATE examinations. Getting a degree, BE degree, is very easily possible with the lower order cognitive skills like L1, L2, L3. But qualifying for GATE needs higher order thinking skills like L3, L4, L5.
Sir,
there is a mismatch.
Sir,
Yes, please.
Sir, that slide is not visible, sir. PPT.
Oh, 1 minute. Is it all right now?
Yes, sir.
Now, are you able to accept that there is a mismatch between the cognitive skills expected in a school and the college exam and the cognitive skills expected in the competitive examinations? There is a mismatch.
Yes, sir.
Now, if we can prepare our students for L3, L4, L5 in our classrooms, most of our students will land in IITs for MTech and MS. Then our NBA and NIRF ranking will be superior. Yes, sir, no?
Yes, sir.
We need to work for that. As education institutions, say today there are certain conditions for NBA and NIRF. In the near future, even AICTE and the Ministry of MHRD may demand that minimum number of students to get admitted in IIT or to qualify in GATE is the minimum requirement for applying for NBA. What will you do? The day is not very far off.
Yes.
They may demand 10% students to qualify in GATE. Now, how many students now qualify? Now, if they qualify in GATE, then they can even go for higher studies abroad because GATE is respected in Singapore and Japan like anything. Therefore, now it is possible. We can work on improving the cognitive skills of students by this. Now, remembering is just rote learning. Understanding is L2. Is it right? Now, really apply, analyze, evaluate leads to real learning. Remember and understand may lead to rote learning. Is it clear? Now, coming to the now after a discussion for about, say, 1 hour, now we are trying to understand what is learning. Now, can you define what is learning? Any of you?
Remembering the concept for long term.
You want to store in the learned material in long-term memory.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good, excellent. Any improvement possible? The answer is a good starter. You are perfectly correct. You are right. Can somebody improve that answer? I really appreciate. Who gave that answer? That is
Me, sir.
Yes, please. Your name, please, Professor?
Srinivas, sir.
Srinivas. Great. Congratulations. Can somebody improve that answer? Okay, don't worry. Now, a beautiful definition has been given by Richard Felder. Richard Felder is one of the living legends in this world. who has spent more than 50 years on the researching teaching learning process. That this definition is being given by him. See, Professor Richard Felder and Rebecca Brent has written a book called Teaching and Learning STEM. He's given a beautiful definition. Definition of learning. We can come across about 100 definitions of learning. Now, one such is given now by Professor Srinivas out of his own professional experience, which is reasonably correct. But the Professor Richard Felder's definition is very beautiful. He says that whatever student learns, a learner learns, should be encoded. Among the three types of encoding, that encoding should be a strong encoding. Encoding should not be weak and medium. Then that strong encoded medium should be stored in the long-term memory, not in sensory memory and the short-term memory. Therefore, the learned material is properly strongly encoded and then get stored in the long-term memory, and it should be possible to retrieve the material. Sometimes I may store the material in long-term memory. I may find it very difficult to retrieve. I may have met a person, the face is familiar. I'm unable to retrieve his name. It happens to me. I learned the topic well. The same topic is asked in the examination hall. I know that I learned it well. I'm unable to retrieve. It is there in my brain. I'm unable to retrieve from my brain. It may be strongly encoded. It may be properly stored in long-term memory. Still, there can be a retrieval issue. There are two reasons for this retrieval issue, which will be possible later. Now, we will not go into the details. Therefore, it should be strongly encoded and stored in the long-term memory. It must be possible to retrieve, and it must be used. How to use? It must be used at a higher order thinking level, not at remember and understand level. If I'm able to use the encoded material stored in my long-term memory, I'm able to retrieve it and use it for apply, analyze, evaluate levels, then it is learning. Otherwise, it is rote learning. Now, we have discussed about encoding. Is it not? We discussed about the process, the electrochemical process that happens in the brain. Then we discussed about long-term memory. We discussed about the Bloom's taxonomy. Therefore, if you are able to encode, store in long-term memory, we are able to retrieve and use it at a higher order thinking skill defined by Bloom's taxonomy, then learning has happened. Otherwise, it is totally rote learning. It is not at all learning. Now, we have to define this learning process to the students. If they use the learned material to higher order thinking skill, passing gate examination will be a cakewalk for them. Scoring centum in board university examinations will be a cakewalk from them. When they are not clear about the definition of learning, how will they do well in their examinations? I think now we understood what learning is. Now we can spend the remaining time for discussions. I think now, do you have any doubt about what learning is? படிச்சது என்கோட் ஆகணும், என்கோட் ஆனது ஸ்ட்ராங்காக என்கோட் ஆகணும், ஸ்ட்ராங்காக என்கோட் ஆனது லாங் டர்ம் மெமரியில் ஸ்டோர் ஆகணும், லாங் டர்ம் மெமரியில் ஸ்டோர் ஆனதை ரிட்ரீவ் பண்ண முடியணும், ரிட்ரீவ் பண்ண முடிஞ்சதை யூஸ் பண்ண தெரியணும், யூஸ் பண்ண தெரியறது ப்ளூம்ஸில் ஹையர் ஆர்டர் திங்கிங் ஸ்கில்லாக இருக்கணும். இல்லைன்னா அது ரோட் லேர்னிங், அது குருட்டு மனப்பாடம், அது லேர்னிங்கே அல்ல. இந்த ப்ராப்பர் லேர்னிங் டெஃபினிஷன்ஸில் பையங்க படிக்க ஆரம்பிச்சா ஸ்கோரிங் சென்டம் அண்ட் குவாலிஃபைங் கேட் எக்ஸாமினேஷன் வில் பி a cakewalk. Any difficulty here? Now, I want to stop here because we got another 10 minutes to clarify our doubts and discussion. Let us not, because if we go into a new topic, we may not be able to. Chunk is another important concept. Maybe if time permits, we can discuss in future. Therefore, now we touched upon three aspects. One is the electrochemical process happening in the brain, the type of human memory we have. I told you that the retrieval can be a problem in spite of proper storing. We are not going deeper into the design, that is not bolded. Usage. We discussed about the Bloom's taxonomy, which covers usage. learnt material should be used for apply, analyze, evaluate levels, or even create level, not merely for remember and understand level. If you are at that level, it is rote learning. I think this is one excellent way of defining learning. I love the definition given by Professor Felder. Now we can spend the remaining 10 minutes for any clarifications that you need.
Is there any queries from the participant side? You can please interact with our resource person now.
I will tell one more point if we have.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now there is a concept called chunking.
Thinking.
With the help of chunking process, answer can be retrieved from the human brain at lightning speed. Right now, now it is possible. Now this is similar to the pulleys and lever developed by Archimedes for reducing the muscle load. Chunking is a very powerful method for reducing the cognitive load. Please tell me any 4 digits of your mobile phone or your two-wheeler or four-wheeler. Any 4 digits.
8414, sir.
84114.
Yes, sir.
90 square plus 18 square minus 3 square minus 1 square. Please check, sir.
19 square plus
90 square plus 18 square minus 3 square minus 1 square.
So I can't understand.
Are you getting the same number?
Value whole square, sir.
Are you getting the same value?
19. Sir, I can't understand, sir.
See, you told the number is 8414.
Yes, sir.
Now I'm giving a number 90 square, 90 square
90 square
plus 18 square
90 square. Yes, sir.
minus 3 square minus 1 square. What is the answer you're getting now?
Same answer.
Same number. Now can you repeat such 4-digit numbers with high speed? Be quick.
36, 37, sir.
60 square plus 30 square plus 11 square plus 4 square. Next number.
3445.
50 square plus 31 square minus 4 square. Next number.
5077.
71 square plus 6 square. Next number.
7989.
89.
90 square minus 20 square plus 17 square
90 square minus, sir, 120 square
plus 17 square. Next number.
2080.
45 square plus 8 square minus 3 square.
Sir, we have to check it, sir. You are telling very fast.
This is the power of chunking.
Okay.
And
How we can do like that, sir?
Now the remaining time is limited. See, I'm able. See, you're giving number. I'm able to retrieve the answer at lightning speed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And when I retrieve the answer, my brain is not loaded. with a smiling face, I'm giving the answer. I'm not straining myself.
Yes, sir.
Therefore,
Yes, sir.
my cognitive load on the brain is very less. Therefore, the advantage of the chunking process is that my cognitive load is reduced.
Yes, sir.
I told you that sometimes retrieval may be a problem. I'm overcoming the retrieval issues. There is another benefit. I will become an innovative person. This is what psychology says. When a person has a regular habit of chunking, he gets a byproduct. What is that? He becomes an innovative person. What is that? He develops an ability called transfer.
Retreating.
That ability, innovative ability is called a transfer. That a transfer ability is needed to respond at a higher order Bloom's level. Apply, analyze, evaluate, create level. See, these are all connected, interconnected knowledge factors. Now, if we can really want to achieve academic excellence with our students,
yes, sir.
We have to empower them a lot. Now, I will send the total content of my program to Madam.
Yes,
I requested Madam to share the content. It's a 25 hours program.
Sure, sir.
Wherein I talked about this chunk and the transfer and all. Please, during your free times, freely go through the contents.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, first of all, we have to enable the students to understand what learning is. Then allow them to progress well. Empower them with the multiple number of learning tools which can reduce their cognitive load.
Okay, sir.
Now, two such muscle load reducing tools are pulleys and levers.
Yes, sir.
There are many such tools for reducing the cognitive loads. One such is chunking.
Sir, another number, sir.
Yes,
7736.
Yes, number please.
7736.
90 square minus 20 square plus 6 square.
Sir, 90 square minus 20 square
20
plus
square plus 6 square.
then the same number will come.
Yeah. But your speed is very less. Now you can give it a high speed. I can give it a matching answer.
But answer should be again. We have to check now, sir.
And you can write and check. In the case, now 10 of you will have to prepare numbers. One by one, you ask the number. When the next person is asking the number, the first person can check my answer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It is really possible to retrieve answer at lightning speed and give the answer at speed of sound at Mach number 1.
90 square plus 20 square. Sir, 90 square minus 20 square plus 6 square, sir.
Yes.
Then it will come 7736.
Yeah, you can check with your calculator in your phone.
Can't get it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, in the past 1.5 hours, we have tried to understood to give a definition of learning.
Yes, sir.
Is it not?
Yes, sir.
It's a very complete definition. Sometimes it will be whatever feelings students have about learning will be partly correct. They will not have a completely correct understanding of learning. Any other clarifications needed? Then if there are no clarifications, I thank the organizers for the opportunity given to meet you all. Thank you, madam. Thank you, professors.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And
Thank you, sir.
organizing team, as a FDP coordinator, I thank from the bottom of my heart for taking time from your busy schedule to be the guest speaker at our FDP. So your presence and wise words helped magnify our cause in the best possible way. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Sir, I am Anandina.
Tolling, madam.
Sir, actually, I have studied ME in Kerala College, sir.
Oh, which batch, madam?
2009 passed out, sir.
2007,
9, sir, 9 passed out.
Oh, great. என்ன branch படிச்சீங்க?
ME கம்யூனிகேஷன் படிச்சேன் சார்.
Oh, very good.
சார் ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா இருக்கு சார், நம்ம ஸ்டாஃபை பார்த்து அவங்க ப்ரோக்ராம் பண்ணுறது.
Thank you madam.
படிக்கிற மாதிரி ஃபீல் ஆகுது. தேங்க்யூ சார்.
Thank you.
சார் எனக்கு ஒரு சின்ன டவுட் சார்.
சொல்லுங்க மேடம்.
வந்து நம்ம எவ்வளோ மோட்டிவேட் பண்ணாலுமே they are not willing to study.
சரிங்க மேடம்.
ரொம்ப ஷார்ப்பா இருக்கணும், ரொம்ப ஷார்ட்டா இருக்கணும், ரொம்ப கஷ்டப்படுத்தக்கூடாது அப்படின்னு தான் ஃபீல் பண்றாங்க.
சரி.
ஸோ ஃபார் ப்ரெசன்ட் கரண்ட் அவர் ஜென்ரேஷன் நம்ம எப்படி சார் ஹவு டு மோட்டிவேட் ஆர் ட்ரிகர் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் டு ஸ்டடி ஃபார் கேட் எக்ஸாம் சார்?
கேட் எக்ஸாம் மேடம். மேடம் முதல்ல இல்ல மேடம் நம்ம
ஃபாலோ பண்ணலாமா சார், இல்ல
புரியல மேடம்.
பழைய மெத்தடை யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கலாமா சார்?
இல்ல கொஞ்சம் ரிப்பீட் பண்ணுங்க மேடம், क्वेश्चन ரிப்பீட் பண்ணுங்க.
சார் how to motivate or trigger students to write gate exams?
ரைட். அதாவது மேடம் எல்லாருக்கும் வில்லிங்னஸ் இருக்காது மேடம். நம்ம வில்லிங்னஸ் இருக்கவங்கள முதல்ல வந்து நம்ம பிரிச்சு எடுக்கணும். ஓகே மேடம்.
சார் வில்லிங் இருக்கோ இல்லையோ இப்ப பசங்க கரண்ட் பசங்களுக்கு வந்து எப்படி சொல்றதுன்னா நிறைய டிஸ்ட்ராக்ஷன்ஸ் இருக்குல்ல சார். அவங்கள வந்து இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு எக்ஸாம்ஸ் இருக்கு அப்படின்னாத நம்ம அந்த ஒரு நேரவா கொண்டு போறதுக்கு ஒரு பாயிண்டா எடுத்துக்கலாங்க சார்.
இல்ல மேடம், நம்ம இதுல நிறைய கேட் எக்ஸாம் ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்றதுனா மேடம் நிறைய வேலை பார்க்கணும். முதல்ல நம்ம சிலபஸுக்கு என்ன டைட்டில் இருக்கோ அதுக்கு ஈக்குவலண்டா NPTEL இருக்கக்கூடிய கோர்ஸை கண்டுபிடிக்கணும்.
சார் இன் இங்கிலீஷ் சார்.
sorry. We have to find out the matching course from NPTEL. So imagine that thermodynamics is one, or image processing in one paper in the UG curriculum of electronics and communication branch. We have to find out the similar course in NPTEL. We have to find a similar course in MIT OCW. But similarly, similar courses will be available in Stanford Engineering everywhere. Now let us first target on NPTEL. For each and every topic that we have for our BA curriculum, there is a matching content in NPTEL. NPTEL is prepared by IIT professors. GATE examination question is prepared by IIT professors. There is a matching. But the questions that is asked in our BA degree program will be of remember, understand, apply type. The questions asked in the assignment of NPTEL will be of apply, analyze, evaluate, L3, L4, L5, Bloom's taxonomy. Right from stage 1, we have to form student communities to go beyond the UG curriculum and learn at the NPTEL level. There was one student in TCA. He was studying electrical engineering in our college. He get connected with a US professor. He was teaching one topic which he was studying in 5th semester. He received all the learning material, all the assignment question papers from him. He encouraged his own classmates during Saturdays and Sundays. They assembled in the classrooms. They started solving those problems and sent the solutions to the American professor, by which they raised their higher order thinking skills. Fortunately, that professor was kind enough to spend some time on these boys. Now, similar thing can be done with the NPTEL material assignments, and the students can be encouraged to get qualified in by registering 1,000 rupees for an NPTEL learning material as well, because the IITs give a certificate with the photograph of the student after passing an examination, by which their higher order thinking skill can be enhanced. Our university examinations will not be of that much demanding. If you are going to teach at the what do you call that, cognitive level of our board examination or university examination and expect them to pass at the GATE examination, it is not possible. Right from beginning, we have to motivate them and explain them the benefits of getting a degree, MS or PhD from IIT Madras, and we have to empower them to learn well. How to achieve that create level higher order thinking skill with Bloom's taxonomy. We have to empower them. That is a process for which my program can be of use. We can give them an innovative ability called a transfer to achieve academic excellence. That ability is needed to passing GATE. You can see in my brochure that is connected with the I sent to Sivasankari madam. In the first page, bottom right corner, a Ramayanam scene is given where Lakshmana demonstrates this transferability, which is needed for IIT JEE, NEET, GATE, CAT, all such competitive examinations. We have to define them. Now, we have taken 1.5 hours to understand what learning is, which is a very complete, comprehensive understanding. Similarly, we have to give many new concepts. Now, they are learning with their own approaches. There is a efficient, effective approach, which they need to understand. It is possible. If there is willingness, there is possible. If the student possesses capacity and ability. And how to bring that willingness, we can work out upon that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are correct, sir.
Yes.
Very nice reply, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Already all the materials are shared in the Telegram group, sir.
Thank you, madam.
With all the participants, and it is already circulated, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your presence here.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Bye. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Dear participants, the link will be active up to 5:30 p.m. and the same link will be posted in the Telegram group also. Please complete the feedback before 5:30.